Where does this song take you? Like mentally, what does this do?
Perfect.
I can't help but think of Dirty Dancing.
So
Like, did we have it at a dance? Was it like?
here we are. All right, so kind of caught us off guard a little bit there. So, Tom and Q Show, episode 32. We're here September 16th. Our new No Wives streak is alive and active at 5 weeks in a row. A couple weeks back, we had Nicole on to kind of talk about the volleyball tournament that was going on. I'm sure at some point in the next few months, we'll probably have her on again to talk about kind of her candidacy and kind of how that's going and those types of things. But needless to say, she's not here.
Right.
Jess isn't here. She's a healthcare worker. We talked about them last week. How's she doing?
Good. Busy. Babies don't slow down during COVID. They actually sped up a little bit.
Oh, really?
So she's
So not to stop you, but kind of stop you. I want to know if this ever caught on. So when all this kind of first happened, I heard a term that was very, you have millennials,
yeah.
you have the baby boomers.
Sure.
There's like a name, Gen Xers, whatever for everything, right? So
Right.
like, everybody's quarantined, everybody's in lockdown, everybody's staying home. There was a term that I heard, and I thought, well, that's pretty good, right? Coronials. Right? So I asked Jess if that's caught on at all.
Coronial. I love it.
Coronial babies. What are you? Coronial. Now, we're going to be long gone by the time that probably does catch on, but
Yeah.
I thought that term kind of fit, talking
Yeah,
about.
I mean, it's fit. Baby boomers. I mean, that's what it was. Get home from the war and
Yeah.
make babies.
Yeah. I missed you so much. How much?
enough to expand the family.
So she's doing good mentally, everything?
Yeah. Everything's good. Just chugging away, and I think the second go around, because the numbers are what they were at their peak the first time. It's insane. But it's just like anything in life. When you face something that's difficult, the second time you do it, you're ready for it. And I think everyone's braced. I have a lot of concerns with the healthcare field across the board, because there are a few that the first time around it wore them out.
Yeah.
It was tough, and to see it on the horizon again, it's you're prepared for it, but it's just one of those things of, do I want to go through this again? So they lost a lot of good nurses. Is that going to happen again? So they're kind of thin on staffing, not hurt, just the industry in general.
Yeah.
So that's concerning to see where the future of our healthcare is going, and what the way society views them and the way they're treated in the healthcare world. And it's so if you see nurses, I know it's not Nurses Week or Nurses Day or anything like that, but man, they're front line.
Yeah.
And what they do, it's significant. And yes, I don't think I'm biased, but I am coming from a position of intimacy, of being so close to a nurse
Right.
every day of my life,
Right.
that you see what they bring home with them, and it's not to dismiss the stress any other field brings home,
Sure.
but it's their front line, and again, going this time, her personally, she's approaching it as more prepared, like all, I hope, but no, we think about our nurses and our doctors and our health field, and hopefully they can endure and keep the right mindset, and we as a society can treat them with the respect and that they deserve.
It's a good take. And I don't know how many of you people can kind of hear this song. I'm sitting here thinking as you're talking, I'm like, boy, this really just doesn't fit the where we kind of went there.
I kind of spun to
It's
some
like,
seriousness,
hey,
but
this
hey,
happy
it's-
song and people dancing and throwing people up in the air and all that stuff, and we're going to talk about COVID. So, the reason, and we'll just jump right into it, the reason that I kind of said, hey, this is a good song to kind of start with, is because, I know where we are at Colerain, it's homecoming week.
Okay, this weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
And so with the child or kid in high school, he's going to experience homecoming.
Yes, we had ours last week.
So Northwest Local Schools, they've kind of been in the news lately. They've made some adjustments to their response, their COVID response, right? And one of them was they're going to continue to do homecoming, which is great. I thought this was interesting. It kind of, there's several 80s movies where I kind of picture this in my head. They are actually going to do it outside on the football field.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
pray that weather's permitting.
Good weather, right? But what was the movie?
I got a canopy if you need it, guys.
Can you imagine all the canopies?
It's a big 12 by 12 canopy. Just got some tarps, string them up.
But so like that's going to take place this weekend, and I kind of got to thinking of like the movie Footloose, and then like even the movie like Dazed and Confused, where like so many things like happen like outside of school. The inside of school gets a lot of attention when you're talking about movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of movies that things happen right outside of the actual school building,
right,
that don't get enough attention. So I do think this is kind of neat that it's going to give a different experience than the majority of people that
100%.
Almost a hoedown, right? Like,
yeah, 100%. That's such a cool because you do see similar things in movies. I've never seen it in real life, so I know Audrey. She was a freshman princess. So the structure that West Claremont does it, they vote for their class representative. So she was freshman queen, but they call it princess or whatever. So good job, Audrey, on winning that. And but she had to walk on the field halftime when they did all their thing. Oh man, she was so nervous. She was shaking because she walking on that turf with those heels on.
Yeah,
she was terrified. She made it. She didn't fall. There's some great pictures of her out there, but just see her in front of us. So I'm thinking of the girls that go to the dance in their heels, like when it hits that soft turf, like how many heels are going to grip and trip. And so be careful with your footing.
Thought.
Jessica said, do you want to wear your Birkenstocks? She's like, no.
Do you remember? I just went all Chris Farley from Saturday Night Live. Do you remember? Like a lot of times, yeah, a lot of times girls, like, they would immediately like kick their shoes off.
Done.
Like, you brought up a good point there. Like,
I don't know how that turf's going to feel on bare feet.
Probably not good.
Right.
Parents are going to be upset because those little black balls are going to be all over their house.
All over the house. All over.
There's a whole lot of stuff that they really didn't think about here. But
you know what they did think about, and it's what we've talked about for the last few weeks? Figure it out. Everybody's in this together. If going outside is what we have to do, then freaking go outside. Let's make this happen. Let's be creative on doing this thing. If we can make it happen, but we got to deal with little black balls all over our feet and all over our clothes and whatever, so be it. That's it.
So, gosh, I could go a couple of different ways with this, but let's play a song because this is gonna. I've got some thoughts. Past, present, 98.
98. There we go. It's a good year. Speaking of times of our lives, country. And 11. So I just saw Jake Haverkamp chimed in. I hope you're still watching. I want to put that out there that they are having a chili cook-off on October 10th for the Jake Haverkamp Foundation. Great cause. K9 cops, generating the funds for that and the awareness and the support for that. Again, October 10th. It's from 1 to, I've got it posted on our page already. I'm pulling it up now because my brain has gone blank on the location. Here it comes. It's coming to me. Grainworks Brewery up in Westchester. They'll be doing that from 1 to 3 p.m. You can get there at noon. $10 a person. Again, it's for the Matt Haverkamp Foundation, K9 cops.
Tremendous foundation, too, by the way.
Tremendous. They do golf outings. They do a 5K run. There's a ton of support and a ton of involvement. And I think a lot of people sleep on the behind-the-scenes work of running events like that, how much goes into it.
For sure.
And the fact that they do multiple events. tip my hat,
Yeah, it's
if
a
I
lot.
had it on. So it's incredible that they're doing that, and we want to make sure that you guys are aware. And if you like chili and
It's at Grainworks.
Grainworks, yep. So the chili capital of the world, Cincinnati. Let's
Go support it.
go support it and taste some chili.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. I enjoy a good chili cook-off, right? So,
What kind of chili do you like?
Alexa, play True by George Strait. I like all chili.
That's good.
I like all chili. I like to feel like I make a pretty good chili myself.
All right.
Never really. I take that back. I have won first place in a chili cook-off before,
Yeah.
but actually wasn't for my traditional chili because I make a lot. I make. Maybe I'll do that one day. But I make a traditional beef and bean.
Okay.
Right? Can do spicy. Can do more tomato.
I like tomatoes. I like the big, thick,
You like them chunky?
tomatoes. Yeah, I like chunky chili.
What's
but
your-
I like when it just
What's your feeling on onions?
yeah. As long as they're cooked in there, I like it.
What about the texture? Like, because
So-
like my kids, like, if they know the onion is in there, like they'll try to avoid the big, chunky onions.
Right? Yeah, I'm not so. Most foods I like diced up, real even proportion. I hate big chunks of anything, except tomato. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's the juiciness of the tomatoes, but when
Yeah, there
I
is
want
something to that.
everything really fine, diced, clean. I don't like getting a big chunk of something and like a big chunk of meat. Nothing. Like when we're making tacos or anything. That we make chili around the house. I'm like graining it up,
I do too. I do the same thing.
but I like that big giant chunk of tomato for whatever reason it is.
So I like mine dice size, right? I like to see them.
Yep.
I like them stewed in there real good and soft. Onion, on the other hand, like I don't want the crunch of the onion.
Correct. No. Yeah, I agree.
So what I do is I'll use a whole onion. This is Tom's secret, right? So
Okay.
I've done some YouTube cooking videos. Check out my YouTube my YouTube channel if you want to check those out. Maybe I'll put this on YouTube too, but I'm afraid to kind of give away some secret recipes.
Yeah.
It's kind of special,
Can we patent those?
probably. You know anybody that knows how to patent?
Recipes?
Yeah. Probably not.
I don't know.
Probably
I
not.
guess I got to bring you Jessica's taco seasoning that she makes at home.
Oh,
Anyway, go ahead.
yeah. So, but I'll take a whole onion, a sweet onion preferably, and I'll cut it into quarters. And we have this. We were talking about some of these like before the show, like
Yeah.
these gadgets or things that like, man, you may only use it a couple of times, but you don't know what you'd do without it. So, this little thing, I don't know. It looks like it's probably a little bit bigger than this cup right here.
Okay.
And it's a food processor is what it is. So I'll put in a quarter, slice it up almost to where it's like almost onion juice.
All
They're
right.
super thin, and then
Yeah.
by the time you cook them, you still get the onion flavor in there
Yep.
because they're still thick enough to disperse, whatever it is, the chemicals and juices that they have. But they melt down enough to where like they're almost non-existent, so you can't even tell
Yeah.
that they're actually in there.
I like where you're
Because
at.
a lot of people are like me; they don't like that. They like the onion taste. They don't like the thick onion texture. I'm that way with even burgers. Like I like an onion on it,
Yep.
but like I like thin.
Like Skyline diced up onions.
I can handle diced, like on a taco or something like that.
Yeah.
But like on a burger, like I want like 2 circles, shoestring thin. I'm good. I'm golden.
Yep.
So, and then anyway, get back to the chili. I won a competition a few years back at friends of ours. They used to put on this big giant chili cook-off party, and I do it's not really a white chicken chili because you and I kind of have that same fear of like the white sauce, and there's a lot of times there's sour cream or cream cheese involved in that. I'm like,
Right.
I don't want that. So I do more of a red chicken chili,
Yeah, okay.
right? And use some black beans in there so you kind of get like that thicker black bean flavor. I've done corn. I'm not like I don't like overpowering with corn.
Right.
It's kind of almost I call it a chili, but it's almost like a tortilla soup almost.
Yeah.
Kind of consistency.
Yeah.
It's pretty good if I say so myself. Like I like, I like it. I don't like it real thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a couple places, Quatman Cafe, down in Norwood. Used to go there all the time. Get a hamburger and a bowl of chili.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous chili. Worked there for a day helping them out. I was in the back. I was flipping burgers, and I was watching them make chili.
What, were you flipping burgers and doing dishes because you couldn't pay the tab, or
No, it was actually.
forgot my wallet? Go grab a spatula.
I'm trying to think of what. I think I was just trying to make some extra money,
Sure.
and so it was a Saturday. I worked like 10 hours back there. Like,
Nice.
Literally, like
That's
just
a good day.
it was right, and so
1997.
there we go. But I watched them make their chili, so I was like, you know what?
Hip hop.
I'm gonna use
15.
this special ingredient. I won't disclose what it is until the YouTube video comes out. Then you'll see it. I'm gonna use this in my chili. Now I got it. It's like I'm trying to figure out where their chili's so good.
Yeah.
Another chili that I like is Frisch's.
Yes.
So at Frisch's,
I love their vegetable soup too.
I mean, I don't know if I've had that.
I remember Heiss and I went one time and we just had the vegetable soup. So I saw a thing on TikTok where they're doing Texas Roadhouse competition, a challenge for the most rolls. People have like 28, 30 plates of their rolls. I guess 3 or 4 come on a thing, and see these guys just stacks of the trays. But Heiss and I did that with Frisch's vegetable soup. Well, I mean, we had to have bowls. The server comes by, like, you want us to remove those? I'm like, no way. We're stacking these puppies as high as we can go. I can't remember the number. I mean, we both had like 10 or 11 bowls of their vegetable soup. So you're sitting 20-something bowls, empty bowls sitting on our plates.
Nobody else could eat soup because you've taken all the bowls.
Right.
Alexa, play For You by Kenny Lattimore.
So, yeah, chili. I like the thick, meaty chili. Jessica likes runny chili, but, you know, it is what it is. I usually
But I like chili.
like chili.
Don't try to fool me that it's something else. Alexa, play For You by Kenny Lattimore.
Here's For You by Kenny Lattimore. Amazon Music.
So the chili cook-off's going on. I'm not entering my chili. It's, but you did give me an idea. I'm going to do it.
Yep.
I've done, I like making those videos. It's fun. I like to make fun of myself. I like when other people make fun of me for doing it. So I'll let you know when those come out. Kind of going back, now they hit 97, right? So, or
Yeah.
1997. Talking a little bit more about,
The times of our lives.
yes, and homecoming, right? So Corning High School, they're going to do it outside in the football field. Like, you go to the football games, like the back lot, there's, how many parents do you think might just happen to sneak up in that back lot and kind of get a peek, kind of see what's going on?
Dads with the binoculars.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was an interesting thought. The shoes, no shoes, you're going to have to, fortunately, here's a pun. Fortunately, it's 2000, I almost said 1990. It's 2021.
Yeah.
In 1997, if you were to do it outside, it would have been grass.
Yep.
Or if you were at a big school, it would have been AstroTurf.
Oh, that old AstroTurf. Yeah.
How many people out there cutting a rug? Literally cutting a rug.
Well played, young man.
Down goes the knee. With the field turf, you don't have to worry about that. It's a little bit more forgiving.
Yep.
So you can cut away.
And that old AstroTurf, man, that cuts your feet.
Oh yeah.
That was tough stuff, man. I remember when we played down at Nippert, man. That's when high school players had those neoprene sleeves. Not for pay, it's just because you land on that turf
Yeah.
and it's road rash. It
Oh,
takes
yeah.
your arm off.
Yeah. The what'll be? Do you think any of the kids will like run around scooting their socks and shocking each other kind of on the way? I
hope so.
could go on these stupid
I hope
games
so.
that people are gonna play. But look, going back, right? So like, I'm trying to think like out my first homecoming. Like Carson's, I'm trying last year. I'm trying to think, did they have it? He didn't dress up for it if they did. The year before, I don't think he went to it. Not to the point where they're kind of dressed up. He may have went to it, but this time they've kind of went. He's a junior. They've kind of went all out. Him and some buddies.
Yeah.
A buddy's mom took him to the store, and they got their get up, right? That they're gonna look fresh. You can still say this, right? Gonna look fly.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Fresh to death.
we used to all we really didn't have hardly anything money wise because we hardly worked or whatever. It was like, but we used to hey, it was cool. Let's go out to eat. Let's go to Fridays. You typically it'd be like your date, maybe a buddy, his date, or maybe a big group of people. No, I was informed that we will be hosting the homecoming dinner.
All right. Chili.
So,
Get a bib.
yeah, that was the other thing. It was so she had some ideas of spaghetti, some pasta. I'm like, getting all over the nice clothes, be messy, and so I think we've got some other ideas to kind of keep some stuff clean. But I'm like, I kind of looked at her when she said that. I'm like, really? I loved all those kids. I don't want 10 kids dressed up, and then I gotta clean before they get here. I gotta clean up after they leave.
Yeah.
Making food for them.
I think I dodged a bullet last week because they were discussing last minute change of where they wanted to go, and it was Grace and her friend. So there were like 5 of them, and then Audrey and her boyfriend. And it's like, Dad, why don't you fire up the grill and we'll all sit here and eat? I mean, this is like 3:30,
Yeah.
4 o'clock. I'm just like, we don't have any buns.
You know what they say? You ain't got none unless you got buns.
Right. So
So it'll be interesting. That's going to take place Saturday.
yeah, fire up the grill, man.
I thought about that. I did think about that.
You can keep those clean.
Oh yeah.
Little chicken, an array of stuff. You
know,
give
my-
the kids a menu, make it official.
My thought was kind of get some bread and get
Austin and Blake walk around as servers.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Yeah. But was do a lunch meat tray and
Yep.
some bread and whatever vegetables, whatever, and they can make whatever they
Yeah,
want.
have
It's not
at
too
it.
heavy.
Casual.
Here's
Yeah,
some
yeah.
chips.
I like it, man. I like it. I wonder if that's going to be a thing because, again, last week we were on the 86. What? We were throwing it back, man. I
Kenny
love it
Loggins?
today. Top 40. It's a good chance.
I'm gonna bet it's Kenny Loggins.
Number 14, Charlie Hustle.
86
Not allowed to talk about
top songs. Go. You said 14?
Pete. Yes.
There's that number again. I wasn't. Man, that's. It's funny. I am a huge sucker for 80s movies,
Yeah.
and a lot of that has to do with their soundtrack, right? It's
Yes.
like you hear a song and you immediately, like I said, Loggins. So where do you go for Loggins? You either go to Footloose or you go to Top Gun.
Yes.
Okay. This particular song, I know right where I go. I go right to a movie, and I'm looking down this list, and they're all
Read the list.
movies. Alexa, play "Glory of Love" by Peter Cetera.
Ooh, a Karate Kid.
Yes, that's that you
Yes.
did too. That's exactly where I went. So the list. That's what friends are for. Remember that song?
That's what friends are for.
Lionel Richie. Say you,
Say me.
I miss you.
By who?
Climax.
We might have to play that.
Yeah.
It's going to be in my head.
Maybe we leave this list open for a while. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll go from 14 down.
Caddyshack.
And you got to name them. If there's a movie, you got to name the movie.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's a fun game.
Yeah, we'll do that. That sounds
fun
good to
game.
me. So, paying our bills. Special thanks, Fretboard Brewery. Again, world-renowned beers.
9.
Number 9 in the world. I challenge them to do better next year.
I saw another list of breweries. There were 3 from Cincinnati that ranked in this another competition. I can't remember the breweries.
Well, you said-
but nonetheless,
You
we're
said chili
German
capital of the world.
Yeah, we're gonna make a run at the breweries as far as being a hotspot for it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, Cincinnati's just everything, the heart of it all, man.
Yeah.
Everything in this country runs through Ohio.
It does.
Everything.
71-75 is the beltway from the north to the south.
Yep.
So congratulations, Fretboard.
Yes.
White Oak Productions sponsoring the Music Wheel, weddings, parties, funerals. So Saturday night. This is gonna go down. You'll like this too. So Saturday night, we go to Hobner, right? So they have White Oak Family Night, which is usually a blast.
That's cool.
Okay, so in the past, it was like $25. You got grilled food, draft beer, and they'd have White Oak Productions with DJ, and they'd let the kids would just, it's basically a babysitter too. Like the kids would just run around out on the field, play football, throw dirt in the air, whatever.
Yeah.
And parents could sit up there and
How often do they do that?
once a year.
Okay.
And it's a fundraiser, right? So that happened this past Saturday. They didn't do it last year, and this year they had a couple of different twists. So they had they're trying to do some special things up there. So they raised the price from $25 to $50 a family. They did a spectacular fireworks show.
And for $50, you're not going anywhere and eating anything.
No,
anyway.
heck no,
That's
no, right?
Yeah.
And so, but they had soccer games on the main field, kind of going on until like 9 o'clock.
Sure.
So there was already, always drew a lot of people if the weather was nice. So the weather was great. They had these soccer games going on, so that's bringing more people in. They had the DJ, the fireworks. I mean, I walked in there. I probably got there about 8:30, and I feel like there was 3,000 people there.
Wow.
And that includes kids and everything that was going on, but I mean, like, it was slamming.
Wow.
And White Oak Productions did a great job doing the music, being DJ, kind of master of ceremonies. Tommy did awesome, so that was cool. Even had music kind of to the fireworks. And I've got a special segment because we'll get into that here because later on, probably soon, we'll talk about Tom's Saturday. Right, we did Tom's yesterday.
We haven't had a Tom's yesterday in a while.
So we're gonna cover kind of the amount of ground that I was covering as a person, as a family man, a dad, a coach, whatever you want to call it, Saturday.
Yes.
So special thanks, White Oak Productions, parties, weddings, funerals, whatever you need, whenever your music likes. Local legends, they always come up with some really, really cool stuff. I saw some newer stuff, kind of had the green camo.
With the 13 fallen in Afghanistan.
Yes.
So get those orders in. We've shared it a few times on different platforms.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, again, goes to a good cause. So.
And I think I'm going to be hitting him up soon here for some sweet stuff because I've got mine. I call this my Bearcat shirt.
Yep.
Right? The local legends with the state of Ohio on it. It's fantastic. Speaking of Bearcat shirt.
I was in a conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
And Bruce Centers walked up to our friend Aaron Dorfman and said, "Hey, I've got 2 tickets to UC Notre Dame. Paradise. Can't go. Do you want them? Free." Dorfman said, I was like, hold on. So I jumped next to Dorfman real quick. So I'm in. We'll take them. And so when? October 2nd. I was like, I'm in Mass that weekend to watch Page. So we got the tickets booked. Dorfman said, I got them. I'm taking them. Whatever. Just figure it out. I'm taking them. I'll get divorced. I'll figure it out. I'm taking the tickets. So yeah, he's gonna go up to Notre Dame, watch UC Notre Dame on the 2nd, man.
Alexa, play Friends and Lovers.
Here's Friends and Lovers by Carl Anderson, featuring Gloria Loring
see
on
if-
Amazon.
So yeah, that's a great opportunity for
Yeah, that's an opportunity
to just
missed.
happen. It's like, oh, while you're here, I forgot I have 2 tickets I can't use.
Yeah,
Sweet.
so be it.
Notre Dame Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
a
must
lot.
have-
So I'm a Notre Dame guy. So
I just missed Bruce. Like
Yeah.
literally, he got out of the elevator. Dang.
tickets are gone.
So, local legends, awesome stuff. Also, so we've, we've kind of went to the podcast forum as well. So we have a couple of different avenues that this goes. We have our live show, which obviously is always we prefer.
Yep.
You know, but there's a lot of people that work. Maybe they can't get on Facebook. Maybe they're doing something else. Can't watch it live. There's YouTube. So if you want the video, with everything, it's there. We've now converted it to an actual podcast. So we've been on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast.
Yes.
We're out there. And
our commitment when we first started this is we were bringing people along the ride for the entire experience of everything
Yes.
that we're going to go through, from leaving here to go get in the camera the first day we did it, to talking for 30 minutes to nothing, to having to restart it, to the batteries dying, to all the silly things that professionals go through on their climb to become professionals. We've got some great stats.
So I'll give you a brief summation of our podcast stats, right? And I'm just going strictly off of downloads. So the first one we released through time, okay? So through, I think it was a week.
Yep.
We had 11 downloads.
Downloads. They actually took the time to say, I'm downloading this, and I'm not, because you can just listen without downloading.
And one of them was me, so
okay,
so probably 10.
Okay.
So,
one of them was not me.
So thank you for those that did. I hope
Thank you, 10.
I hope that you were entertained, informed, enlightened. Maybe put a smile on your face. Maybe it made you cry. I don't know, but let us know.
Right.
So, and then last week, I was really curious because we did a little over 2 hours. The majority of the show, probably an hour and a half, was dedicated to 9/11.
Yes.
Right? And kind of where we were, where we are now. A lot of stuff that we talked about, you can still go through and download that and listen to that. But we actually had, and this is going to make it sound like it's worse, but it's really not. But that first day, we had 7 downloads.
That is a 70% retention rate.
Correct.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
we got 7 loyal friends.
Yes.
Followers. Friends. Same
And
thing.
you can go on and actually find out where those downloads came from. And so I made it a point that I wanted to look up and see, here's the stats. And again, it's just as you're going through this, you're trying to learn different things, right? So like, if you're into media, they want people, you got to have eyes on it, right?
Yeah.
Or ears or whatever.
What's our demographic?
It is, right?
What's our audience? What's our target
So-
audience? Let's cater and pander to them.
So it's amazing.
I don't know if we're going to pander to this audience. We're just going to be very
Hey,
appreciative.
every
and
time-
just, consider it a blessing.
Every time we put it out there, we're going to get the stats. So, 88% from the 2 weeks, the 2 Spotify podcasts that we have out there, okay? Cliffhanger. Alexa, play Secret Lovers by Atlantic Star.
Jessica's sleeping. She's not watching this ebb and flow.
I do feel like we're going, like, this is like those 80s movies. Homecoming? Like, this is it. We are nailing. We're
having our own.
This is
Homecoming.
what it was like before our time, 1986.
Ooh.
All the movies. This was what was going on. So anyway,
Right at the skating place, though.
yeah,
Couples of backward skaters only.
could do a whole show on just the skating place.
Yeah.
alone. So, stats from our podcast host. So, 18 downloads amongst the 2.
Yep.
And I looked at it and it caught my attention. 88% were in the United States.
That means there's 12% not.
Correct. And I'm going, who is listening to us
Is it-
outside of the United
Is it Canada?
States? It is not Canada.
Is it Mexico?
Negative.
Where on earth could someone else be?
It
Literally.
is Germany.
Yes.
It is Germany. So I can break down. This is awesome. Only 33% comes from the city of Cincinnati.
Ooh, I didn't. This is new stat to me.
20% comes from Harrison, Ohio.
Okay. That's
Okay? But still, that's only roughly 50%.
so half of our audience is local.
Okay?
12 of our percent is global.
6%
12 of our percent. 12% of our.
Muskegon, Michigan. Hello, maybe we should start doing this. Hello, Muskegon, Michigan. Pike Road, Alabama.
Ooh.
Roll Tide. Columbus, Ohio. OH.
IO.
Warren, Michigan. That might have just turned some people off, but go blue. Ladera Ranch, California.
California.
Yes, Ladera. And finally, 13%.
13.
Frankfurt, Germany.
Whoever's in Frankfurt, Germany listening, thank you. Call into the show.
I do not know any German,
Well, I don't either.
but
Call in with your
that is
translator.
absolutely amazing. I hope whether you are a German citizen, maybe you're U.S.
We are
service,
bringing peace to the world.
I hope you are doing well.
Yeah. Yes.
Continue to listen. And if there's anything that we can do to make your life better, easier, or funnier in Frankfurt, Germany, I am 100% down.
I love it.
100% down. That is like amazing. So I want to continue to push these. So I'll let you.
I'm going to refuse to think that was an accident download and it was
Not
intentional.
twice.
Oh, they downloaded it twice?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So the one thing I'll let you kind of behind the curtain, right? So as we were trying to kind of find out how to make it a legitimate podcast.
We're going to be as big as David Hasselhoff in Germany.
Yes, that's true.
Cecilia, we're all about the dance and songs today. Homecoming theme.
So behind the curtain, we create this podcast, right? And again, I had to kind of, where do you go when you try to create or fix anything? You go to Google,
Yes.
right? So I like Google, like, hey, create a podcast. And I'm like, you know what? Had a little bit of time. I'm going to find out some steps and what we need to do. So it gives me like 3 different host sites that you can use. And it's like, okay, well, how do you get on, what does it cost? How do you get on Apple, Spotify, iTunes, all these different things? And so, you go through that and it's like, then you got to make the video, you got to download our video, you got to make it, boring people now, but a voice only, an MP3,
Yep.
right? And then you got to put that in there. So the actual host, like, without paying, which maybe we will, especially for the people in Germany, right? A certain monthly fee, you only get so many hours of upload per month.
Okay.
So that's why you haven't seen 3 different episodes on there, right?
Okay.
So we kind of, the first one was like, hey, let's try it. The second one was like, well, you only get so much. The third one was so important that I wanted to put it out there. So went with it, rolled it, let it go through. So I will try to, again, for Frankfurt, Germany, for Warren, Michigan, Columbus, Ohio, for Alabama,
Muskegon, Michigan.
Muskegon, Michigan,
Ladero, California.
Ladera Ranch, California. For those places far and in between, we're going to put it out there, and we're just going to roll with it and continue to follow these stats, because it's the only way that we're going to find out how far we can actually reach and touch people, right? Whether it's, again, 1986 music, whether it's our take on COVID,
Whether it's our take on legends
Local
locally,
legends.
that people that have made an influence,
Yes,
impact
Ryan.
in our life or other people's lives.
if we can get, this is going to get a little political, but think about it. If we can reach Afghanistan and get some of the people that are left in Afghanistan to wear some red, white, and blue local legends gear, be awesome. And then they get caught on camera, next thing you know, hey, everything's just,
They're legends.
they're legends.
They're global
Yes.
legends.
Or better yet, the people that are going to go in and save all the people that are over in Afghanistan, let's get them those green local legend shirts, put that on them, and have them go in, because they'll kick ass in those shirts.
Mm-hmm.
That it. So
I like it.
we got a little bit off track, but those
I
are
like
kind of
it.
our podcast stats. So If you haven't downloaded the podcast, do it. It sounds good. We think it's got some good material, some good topics.
Yeah, some honest, just
Yeah.
middle American couple guys that just talk about what we talk about here, and we're not going to go extreme left, right, and all the stuff that we choose not to talk about.
Yeah.
Just your average everyday.
We have different opinions,
Conversation.
political, non-political, doesn't really matter. We're just normal people saying, hey, this is how I feel about it.
Yes,
That's
and, and it's good water cooler talk from our weekends and our lives, and we mesh it up. So it's why we started this show, because when everyone was quarantined and they were missing their office, we tried to bring the office to them. We tried to bring that environment to them. Just getting involved in conversation and just a break in the day. Now that quarantine is over and everybody's back to work, numbers have gone down, but that's why we've gone to the podcast platform and the YouTube platform, just because.
Trying to give people other opportunities.
Yes, to hear something different.
Yes. Yeah, different. And a lot of times our show is different.
Yes.
We don't really have one particular topic that we're going to talk about. We have guests on. We've had some great guests on.
Sounds like I'm using an auto-tuned mic.
I don't know what that means.
It's like an echo sound.
Okay.
So should I back away?
Wonder-
Maybe. I know I get a little close sometimes.
So we'll check that out here in just a second because I have an idea. Alexa, play "Greatest Love of All" by Whitney Houston. So thank you for that input on the sound. Is it Quentin or is it me?
It says Q.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn down one. I'm glad that the sound is actually working. Talk now. See if that's any better.
So, Cecilia, what do you think? Is it when I'm close to it, or does it just always sound that way? We'll see. I know the auto-tune made a huge impact on music in the world.
Oh, it sure did.
Yeah, it was,
Kid Rock.
yeah. I can't think, I'm drawing a blank on who
Britney
became
Spears
really
used it.
famous for it. A hip-hop artist. He auto-tuned his stuff, and
There's several. Dr. Dre did it.
yeah, well, he kind of blew it up.
Yeah, my comments
Always sounds like there's an echo. Always, no matter if I'm close or far.
Time. Let's try again.
That's how impactful my words are.
Yeah.
They just echo.
See if that's any better.
Should I sing? I'm like, place to you. See, this is how we interact with our audience.
Yeah.
We got thick skin, so we're open for some critiques and criticisms.
Is that better?
I fail, if I succeed. How does the singing sound?
That's terrible. Any feedback on if that's good?
Not yet. So we'll once we get it, we're gonna have to write the numbers down. So we go to that level every week.
So, also kind of going behind the curtain, I always, does it sound horrible, Jake? Oh, his singing sounds horrible. I hope that's what you're talking
Sounds better now. Sing on, bro.
about. Okay, good. So I think I found. All
I
right,
finally, for the first time in my life, got the green light to sing away. That's a big note. I ain't building that one.
you almost did, and it was almost gonna be really, really bad. So.
It was perfect timing, though. Just when I felt confident about
Yeah.
my vocals, that came in and
So we were playing
Humbled me.
1986 music because we feel like 1986 is the perfect time for 80s movies, and there was a lot of homecomings, a lot of prom movies. Your sitcoms were all about the girl and the boy
coming down the stairway.
Yes, she got her heart broken, and then all of a sudden the nerd comes in and saves the day, and and it reminds me of the Goldbergs, right? So that was a great show that you kind of turned me on to.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, anyway, podcast, check it out. Man, there's just homecoming experiences. We kind of talked about kind of our experiences, going out to eat, going into the dance, whether it was in the gym at Corey High School or some of them I think were even in the cafeteria, some of the smaller ones. Man, some of the stuff you think about today, like I remember I was so nervous because I had never done anything like that, right? Like the middle school dances was basically, you never asked somebody to go to the dance with you.
Right. Remember the Sadie Hawkins dances and stuff
Yeah,
like that? Yeah.
you know, in like middle school it was like you show up, you had a DJ, they played some hip hop, guys over here,
Girls over here.
girls over here, and then occasionally you'd have a connection, like, hey, so and so, and it was always her friend that come up, like, hey, so and so likes you.
Yeah.
Do you want to dance with her? And it's like, I really in my head I'm like, yeah, I really do. She's
Becky thinks you're cute.
yeah, she's cute.
I think Becky's cute.
And then your buddies are like, you should, and then, then that leads into a whole nother conversation that happens down the road. But and then like I never ever until I got old enough to learn how to make fun of myself.
Be comfortable in my own skin.
Yes. Slow dancing, fine. You want to slow dance? But actually getting out there and cutting it up, no shot.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Audrey's boyfriend said, "You gonna dance?" His name's Dane. I call him Dane-O-Mite. Said, "You gonna dance?" He's like, "Oh, no." So I was never shy to dance.
Yeah.
I was a fool, right? So it's just like, man, can you act a fool in rhythm? He's like, I can do that. I'm like, then you're dancing.
I had a
Act a fool with the same rhythm as the music going on, and you're fine. Don't worry about anything else in the world. And I found out after the dance, he was on his buddy's shoulders dancing, singing, and he's got a broken collarbone.
oh jeez.
Dane-O-Mite, come on,
Not
buddy.
very smart. So I had some great advice from a buddy of mine. His dad always, like, we would go to weddings. His dad always was like out there, so bad that at one point he was dancing so hard at the wedding, he tore his ACL at the wedding. Right. So Alexa, play "Addicted to Love" by Robert Palmer.
I remember it's kind of a. Go ahead, finish your story.
So he gives me the advice. I'm talking to him like, man, I just like we're talking now. Like he's like, no, man. He's like, you just got to pick something that you like to do and just do it on the dance floor.
Yes.
And so it was like, and he went through like, are you a bowler? Like bowl. He's like, and bowl to the music. And I'm like, and I'm watching him. I'm like, every time I see him dancing, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is he? What is he doing? And that's what he's doing. He's picking like baseball.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I got a monkey bars dance that I
Yes.
swim to, and
It goes back to the whole grocery cart thing.
Yeah, grocery cart, the
The
sprinkler,
lawnmower. Yes.
Yes. I got a scooter.
Yeah. But see, it took me
Yes.
probably getting into my 30s or even
Act
mid
a fool
30s.
in rhythm,
Yeah, that's good.
and you're a fantastic.
Same idea,
dancer.
just
Yes.
two different languages coming together. But it took me until that time to where I was like, once you start having kids, it's like now it's just about embarrassing them.
Yeah.
That's it. It's
And
like,
you got a friend that's dancing, and it's like, take your headphones off. You're on a completely different rhythm. Listen to the same thing we are. Remove the headphones. So
but slow dancing, you get together and it was like, okay, you can do it. And it's like you're slow dancing, whatever. It's like, it was like, man, and you talked about it before, like the skating rink, right? The skating place was like, that was how I got introduced to, like, it kind of broke down a lot of your walls because I was a terrible roller skater. I mean,
all right.
awful, god awful
right.
roller skater. But I went every week or every weekend. It was like Saturday, whatever, Friday night, whatever it was. We would
Did you learn the craft?
not very good.
All right. So you never got fluent at backwards skating?
Oh no, I couldn't backward skate.
Okay.
No, I'm better at it now.
Sure.
Years ago, Carson went to many years ago, went to a birthday party there, and that was like the first time I put roller skates on in probably 20 years.
Right.
I was doing great, and then of course, like, you're doing great, you're going around the circle, and like this little girl comes, and when I say little, I mean really little, comes darting out in front of me, and I can't stop. And I didn't bowl into her. I stopped enough, but of course I go down like on the rink, and I'm like, well, this is embarrassing,
Right.
But get back up.
Take her down with you, dude.
She was too little. Like, I would just completely, I'd have blew her right into the lockers. That's how, coming around the
hilarious.
bend. But, back then it was like, hey, do you want to slow skate with so-and-so? It was like, you slow skate? Oh, that's exactly how I look.
No.
I might as well have had a,
She's
like,
going down.
you've seen, like, on TV, like, the walkers that they give people, like, where it's just like, Like that would have been
Like, can you tighten those wheels?
Yeah.
So they don't roll?
Yeah.
I just walk.
I was not good at it. But that kind of, when you did that, it was like, it kind of opened up, whatever you want to call it, to where it's like, okay, I'm less uncomfortable
It's a good, yeah.
in that atmosphere. So like, hey, do you want to slow dance with so-and-so? Or maybe I would ask, like, hey, would you like, it's like, yeah, okay, why don't you slow dance? It was like, okay, you kind of knock down those walls. Then you get to high school, and it's kind of like, now you're the young one again.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, you kind of sit off in the corner again. And it's like kind of back to like girls and boys. And then the older you get, which is kind of where Carson's getting to now, it's like, hey, now you can go to the, like you can go to the dance with somebody. You can have a date, or you can have a group of friends that
You're
just,
established.
yeah, you're just going to hang out with. And maybe you dance, maybe not, but you're probably less inclined to be sitting off into the corner,
Yes. Got your group of friends.
Yeah.
Act the fool in front of them.
And he's more of a shy kid anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other two coming behind him, they're not shy at all.
Good.
So
Maybe that'll rub off on him. And
it's just that whole dance dynamic. I remember going through it. Like, it's just so. Until you get older, it's just so odd. But we used to love them in middle school.
yeah,
But it had nothing to do with the dancing.
it's just hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, $6 for
Yeah.
a ticket and go hang out with your
And you-
friends and
yeah, and-
talk
and-
about how cute. And I don't know a Becky, but it's just my default female name, right? Talk about how hot.
My God, Becky. Look at her.
Look at Becky. Becky's talking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Becky's a good, that was a cute name.
Yeah, it's my default name.
So that's kind of homecoming dance experience. Next week I'll give you a kind of as much a report that a dad can get.
Yeah.
So
So going back to the wedding, because our kids don't know that we lived a life before our kids, right? Nor do we know our parents lived lives before us.
no, that's
right?
really good because my dad said this to me. He said, "It's funny." We were talking, kind of parenting advice, whatever. And it was like, "It's funny, isn't it? How they always think that they're the first one to come up with something."
Yes. Always. That was done. I mean, Paige asked me, "Have you ever heard of Timberlands?" Yeah, Paige. They've been around for a while.
It's the only dress shoe that I wear
Right.
to this day.
Nice.
That's what your hey dudes are my Timberlands.
Timbos.
Yeah.
Timbos for the toes.
Like I've got a pair of boat shoes that are Timberlands. My brown dress shoes, Timberlands.
Timberlands.
I loved them.
Interesting.
Loved them. Anyway, sorry not to cut you off.
yes,
That's where I was going with
the-
that.
Going back to the dancing and having fun, and your friend's dad that could just dance. I mean, going to Doug Retch's wedding. It's the first time I've ever seen his dad dance. I was like, whoa, Pop's got rhythm. Your dad can dance. Because we always put parents in that bubble of they're the parent, right?
Yeah.
They're not fun. They don't know what it's like. But no, it was. You said that, it just triggered that memory of getting out and seeing our friends' parents, when we all hit that wedding stage and seeing them. Some of them get out and act a fool, some of them, so it's the same thing. But, to see your friends' parents get out there and cut the rug and tear it up. And Doug Retch's dad, he can dance, man. He's got rhythm. It was fun to watch, man.
It's just funny.
But I'm that dad now. Like, Paige, your dad can dance.
I was gonna say you.
Yeah, I can dance.
I remember back then that you.
I don't dance. I act a fool in rhythm. That's
Good.
That's all I do.
Would have been nice. So Q's advice to you high school kids that are going to the dance: don't be afraid to dance.
No.
Act a fool in rhythm.
Yep. Just. And it all goes from there.
That's it. That's it.
You can bowl.
Whatever
you need.
I thought about that. I was like, that is some of
The
the
monkey bar, scooter,
greatest
whatever.
advice of all time.
Jessica and I were watching a comedian. He did a washing machine dance, and this dude, I think his spine was a splinky, but it was, a slinky. But man, it was funny. So whatever you like to do it in
do
rhythm.
it. Do it and do it hard. Alexa, play Kyrie by Mr. Mister.
Kyrie by Mr. Mister on Amazon Music.
So you know what's funny, man? How deep are we into this show right now? We sat down and said, man, this is going to be a sports heavy show.
And we did an hour.
We're an hour deep,
Yeah.
and we have not talked about
Well, that is about to change.
that is about to change, and it's going to change with some encouragement.
No, it's not, because we forgot our new segment, Tom's Saturday.
Tom Saturday.
So we already know kind of where things kind of ended up, right?
Yep.
Okay, so if you don't know, and probably you in Germany do not know, I have 3 boys. Q has 3 girls. Close, similar in age, pretty
The
close.
Brady Bunch.
Yeah. And which is one thing that kind of makes this show kind of unique, because yes, we're 2 parents going down parallel paths, but 2
What's
different.
it like with the boys? What's it like?
Yeah,
with
2 different
girls?
points, 2 different points of view, right? Or 2 different world views. So Saturday, it's a busy day. This is the one weekend, or the first weekend, that Austin's team, he's 12, they are going to have their baseball tournament. It's a new team for him. Really doesn't know, other than me and then another player on the team, really doesn't know a whole lot of the kids, right? And I'm helping out coach, and I don't really know a bunch. So it's pretty exciting, you know?
Yeah.
And so the original schedule was he was going to play at 10. He had a game at 12, but then I've been coaching Carson for so long. He was supposed to have a game at 2. And then Blake had a soccer game, or Austin had football at 6. Blake had a soccer game at 5. And Nicole was working the bar at White Oak Family Night, which we talked about before.
Yep.
Okay. So like and again, these coaches that are with us, they're awesome people, but I don't really know them very well. They don't know me very well. You
Right.
know, we're all kind of learn each other, right? And the other coach happens to be like, the head coach happens to be like me. He's got another older team that he also has some
Commitments to.
priorities to. So like we get there, amongst them, it's 11 kids that have different priorities, right? Or different things going on. They're
Sure.
11. Austin's not the only one that have football or soccer or golf or whatever it is that they're doing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make the game at 10, and then probably have to leave because it was out in Mason. I was like, it's probably going to have to leave a half hour or so into the second game to get back to White Oak by 2:15. Or by 1:15. It's fine. Okay, we go through. Well, their schedule changed too. So he's like, hey, I've got to leave. He left like 4. The head coach left like 4 innings. I hardly know any of these kids' names. The other coaches don't either.
So 10 a.m. in Mason, 1:15 in White Oak.
Yeah, so
Coaching
like-
a team that you don't really know anybody.
So I get a text midway through the first game that says, hey, your 2 o'clock game, they forfeited. Can you play at 4? I'm like, yeah, that sounds great, because now,
We'll figure it out.
yeah, I'm like, now I felt like, okay, I'll be around for Austin's first 2 games. I can help these other guys. You know,
All
they
right.
can help me. So I'm going to get to see both games, whatever. And then I don't have to go. I don't have to leave early, right? So our whole family's out there minus Carson. So we play the 2 games. They finally get over 2 o'clock, a little before. It's like, okay, well, Carson's not playing at 3. He's got to be at White Oak at 3:15. So we're leaving at 2. We haven't eaten anything yet. Get Wendy's, come home, literally scarf it down. Like, man, Austin's got to be at Corrigan High School at 5 for his football game. I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, can you take Austin to his football game? I'll drop him off. Yeah, sure. Drop him off at my mom's, go to KFC, have that baseball game. Then I leave there, go to the football game, because again, Nicole's working the bar at White Oak Family Night. She has to be there. Fine. So I get a text from one of the parents on the football team that says, we're going to start a little early. So Carson's game's still going on. I pick up the text. I text my mom and said, hey, it might start a little early. She already has him up there, but she was planning on going to the game. Like, fine. So I get there probably right at 6 o'clock. And I missed 3 minutes of the first quarter. Fine.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. The score at that point, they were playing Dunbar, 6-0. Dunbar. And they're big, huge, like, I'm talking as big as me, athletic, fast. We're not
Do they have
that.
a weight limit in that?
No, not in
Okay.
6th grade.
Nice.
Yeah, so And Austin's not very big, but he plays hard. Alexa, play Burning Heart by Survivor.
Here's
So
Burning
anyway,
Heart by Survivor.
the team was better. They were better.
Sure.
More athletic. Kids battled, but it's so long. I mean, I'm talking 200, 300 yards worth of penalties. It was brutal. Both teams. Very unorganized, very...
Kind of like the Vikings. The Bengals
Almost, but
Vikings.
worse. Yeah, almost, but worse.
Go ahead.
And, the game's going on, and they're beating us, 24-6. Then it was 24-12. And then, all of a sudden, it's 24-14. Well, no, it's 24-12. There's a minute to go. We're driving down inside the 5. We don't get it, right?
Okay.
And this team tries to run up the score on us. They set up 3 wide, and their best player back there to throw. He's gonna throw it and let them go, see if they can score. We're an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes into this 6th grade football game,
Right.
which should only last about an hour, give or take.
Wow. Why'd it go so long?
Penalties.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wanting to be Joe Montana, whoever throwing the ball around the
Clock
yard.
stop. Okay.
So anyway, the game's gonna be over. All they have to do is take a knee. First down. They try to go for it. Fumbles the snap. They recover it on the 1-yard line. Dunbar does, right?
All right.
But now they can't kneel it. So now they send out 3 wide, put their best player in at quarterback, and he's just going to sail it and let it go. Instead, this kid runs around the end zone. We get a safety.
So they have to punt it over to you.
Now it's 24-16.
Yeah.
We're only down 8, so it's 1 possession. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is actually going to happen. This is the longest game in the history of 6th grade football, but it's actually going to happen. We drive all the way down inside the 5-yard line with 39 seconds to go, no timeouts, and end up not scoring. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, my mom's next to me. We're 2 hours into this game. I'm like, Mom, the only way this game can end properly is overtime.
Right.
Make the longest game ever longer.
Yes.
Regardless of who wins, make it longer. Because I got to get I've been out all day. I literally hadn't showered. So I've been out all day. I probably stink. I'm dirty. I'm like, I just want to get to Hobner
Right.
so I can hang out with,
My wife.
yeah. And have a beer, right? So we leave. We go there. Yes. I told you, 1986, man. They made
Rad.
some freaking fantastic movies.
Yes.
So it's about 8:15 or so.
That was a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yes. It was
They tried to redo it, didn't they?
I don't know. I need to
They
go back and
tried-
watch that again.
Oh, yeah. It was on one of the streaming networks 6-7 months ago, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And it's so funny when you watch those 80 movies. They're so cheesy, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like the film, they're so cheesy. And you're like, this looks so real when I watched it. Now it looks so fake.
Yeah. Well, that's probably what made Cobra Kai so awesome when it was actually, when it came back out.
Right.
So anyway,
So anyway, your day.
I get back to...
Triple overtime.
Yes. I get to Hobner about 8:15, and I'm trying to find a parking spot. And like I told you, it was jam-packed. I'm like, holy cow, there's tons of people here. I'm like, good for them. It's awesome. Austin's like, hey, I need to change out my football gear. Mom's got the keys. So I go look for the keys. Of course, she's got one of this purse the size of this fretboard circle here. And I'm trying to find literally a needle in a haystack.
Alexa, play Send Me an Angel.
Was that Corey Haim, Corey Feldman? That was a movie, wasn't it?
On Amazon Music.
What was the name of that movie? I feel like anything, you could just say 1986. There was only a certain amount of people that were in movies back then.
Yeah.
So anyway, we find the keys. I walk up to the bar. She has a beer for
Send
me.
me an angel.
Drink the beer, whatever. The line's out the door. I'm like, fortunately, she was working at the bar, so I could just walk up and get one. The night ends. Again, it's a fundraiser, right? They are going to auction off the naming of the 3 fields that are at Hobner. Field 1
Oh.
is the big one. 2, smaller, less used field. Field 3, good sized field. The second most used field.
Nice.
So, I'm pretty good at auctions and things, and like minimum when you're talking about a fundraiser, like getting involved in it.
Do they do that every year?
No, this was the first year they did
That's
it.
awesome.
Like bidding to a certain point, but also getting other people up to a certain point.
Right.
And this was not my intent, but so I bid to make Field 1 Talby Field. And I was willing to go. Again, I had a couple drinks, but I was willing to go. My hand went up at 2,000.
Oh.
I ended up getting outbid. I think the final bid was like 2,500, 2,700, something like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was wondering what someone would spend on.
Well, it happened to be, which I'm glad for, part of the Hobner family.
Okay.
So it stays Hobner Field, right?
Gotcha.
But then they did Field 2. I had no interest in Field 2. Reasons.
You just don't have interest.
Yeah. Field 3 comes about. I really don't have any interest in Field 3. You had interest in Field 3?
Another agent.
Nope.
Nope.
Worse. My wife. So I am off to the side, listening to the final bid.
Talby Field.
Field 3. $750. Thank you to Nicole Talby, and welcome to Field 3, now Talby Field. $750 for a field way in the back that I had nothing to do with whatsoever. And then I get texts from friends of mine. Hey,
So how long does this stay Talby
I don't
Field?
know.
A year?
I don't know. Hopefully it's being dragged. Hopefully they're cutting the grass back there on my field.
Go take care of yourself.
You gotta drop in every once a week to go
Field
check
3
it
is
out.
going to be Field 1 soon.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be in just much better condition.
No.
Let's go take care of Field 3.
Yeah.
Let's go do a show from Field 3.
It's like I was good. Like I would have loved Field 1. I like Field 3.
Good job, Nicole.
Yeah. And it was totally behind my back. Threw it out. It was like it was almost like I had gotten her fired up to the point where it was like, no.
You kind of have to because you got the sign up there in the outfield, right? So it's I think good call.
Which you haven't seen
the Talby
it.
name is
People complain about that sign all the time.
because white.
It's white, and it is. So if you're looking at the batter's box, if you're playing first base or right field, like it is directly in your line of vision. So any ball coming up to the point where I play an old men's league on Tuesdays, our right fielder came off the field, took a bench, and put it in front of the sign so that he could see. It's getting noticed.
Yeah, it's getting noticed.
It's getting noticed. No publicity is bad publicity, but
Yeah.
the
But bad publicity
positioning may
is
not
good
be
publicity.
best for actual baseball. This is a favorite song of mine. Alexa, play Party All the Time.
Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
I want to party all the time.
Party all the time, party all the time.
Well, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
So that was my Saturday of all that, and I was exhausted,
Yeah.
and we had to be back out in Mason at noon the next day, right? And so the next day we had.
I see this video in my head.
So do I. We had a noon baseball game. Blake had a soccer game at 3, which, by the way, it is one of my favorite places to watch soccer at. And I'm not a huge soccer fan, but this is one of my favorite places to watch soccer at. In Ross.
Okay.
So you go past the high school, if you know where Ross High School is.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a gravel parking lot. And it kind of goes up a hill.
Okay.
And then the fields are down. Okay.
All right.
If you're fortunate enough to get a parking spot on the top of the hill, and then you could sit by your car, have your cooler.
Yeah.
Like me, I had a couple of beers in a cooler and a bag of peanuts, and we popped open the hatchback, so now I've got shade, and I'm looking out there, and there was another mom that was sitting there because Nicole was helping coach. So I'm up there, I'm playing the other role, right? And throwing peanuts, and I'm they were kind of over here. It was funny. It was a funny moment. This mom, she's watched, so
We'll call her Becky.
yeah, Becky, right? Becky. So she's over here in Mom Mobile number 1,
Right.
and she's got her chair pulled out and her drink, and she's watching the closer field, which is right here.
Okay.
We were originally, when we pulled up, we thought we were playing on field 1. So field 1 is kind of where you're at, right? Field 2 is kind of like over, kind of where the camera is over here.
Okay.
I'm parked right here. She's right here, right next to me. And she's watching, she's rooting for this game in front, and I'm like, and I'm kind of watching, and I'm like, ooh, go. She's like, she looks at me, and she goes, "Are you rooting in silence?" And I'm like, "Oh, you saw that?" I was like, kind of busted.
Yeah.
She's like, don't. She's like, don't worry about yelling over me, whatever. Like rooting. So now all of a sudden we're crossing streams from across the way. But it's like one of my favorite places because you can sit up there. They have picnic tables, and I'm like eating. One of my favorite things right now is eating shelled peanuts. Like just
All right.
sitting out back. The weather's nice. Just crack some peanuts up. But no, it was great. So then got back, and I'll segue into what I was watching the Bengals game on my phone, watching Blake play soccer, and eating peanuts. So, the start of the NFL season, before the season started, as crazy as I may be, I projected the Bengals to win 10 games. Whew. 1 down, 9 to go. Now,
watching that game, looking at those two teams, I said they are so similarly built. I mean, it's the same football team with different color uniforms on, both defensively strong, both inconsistent offensively, and play calling is questionable on many different scales from both teams. And then late in the game, it's
well, especially the third down on your own third, or the fourth down on your
punt
own
it
third.
away.
Punt the ball away.
Yes.
If he punts the ball away, the game's probably not even close.
No.
The time ticks. Even if they score, the time ticks away.
That takes a score away from Minnesota.
And a quick score at that.
Correct.
It probably takes 5 minutes off the time clock. At that point, they would have still been only down 7 if they scored a touchdown. Like it means, like I kind of get like, hey, we're gonna set this tone. Like we're kicking the crap out of them right now. We're gonna get this first down and punch them right in the face. I kind of understand that.
Right.
Stupid.
Dumb.
At that point,
they've had 150 penalties in that game.
And you
let them beat themselves.
Yes.
Put them down the field, and they'll beat themselves.
And you were fortunate enough. You were down 7, and you scored 21 unanswered points, including a Madden-like touchdown right before half.
Yes.
It's funny,
Somebody's got hands.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second too. So, like from a kid's perspective, like Madden football is still really big.
Yes.
To the point
So
to where I'm playing.
Paige's boyfriend and our Jessica's niece, her boyfriend. So we started kind of a little tradition last year in the playoffs, watching games at the house. So they came over and we're watching, sitting on the couch together, and those two were talking trash about Madden.
Yeah.
They play each other a lot, and when that happened, the same thing you're saying. It was just like, just pull the Madden and score right before the half. I was like, they're going to go deep. I mean, they have to. They have to test the limits very soon.
That's how people think. Well, that's how that generation thinks.
And man, he's a bad boy.
Well, so they score right before half. It's halftime. We're like, I'm high-fiving Austin, whatever. It's like, oh, who gets the ball in the second half? Because he's thinking like mad, and he's like, trading. If you're trading scores back and forth, that's kind of the home field advantage at that point. If you get the ball, well, the Bengals end up getting the ball. They score another touchdown, so you're up 2 touchdowns, and then, like, I get it. You're punching that guy in the face. You're punching the Vikings in the mouth at that point, but, like, be smart. Like, punt the ball away. You're up 2 scores.
Yes.
It didn't work out. You're up 2 scores. Punt it away. Trust your defense. Let them run some time off the clock.
Yeah.
Instead, they gave instant momentum right back to him. Alexa, play How Will I Know by Whitney Houston. How will I know if he really loves me?
We killed that. So yeah, we were. It's one of those conversations you get in with someone, and no, like quit trying to defend that. That was a terrible call.
So talking about
Terrible
Madden.
call.
So this is where my kids get frustrated with me, or Austin gets frustrated with me. But Carson kind of knows when we play Madden, like you don't go for it on 4th down. Like I have a rule: if you're playing against me, and it is 4th and over 5. I don't care where you're at on the field. And if you're short of the 40,
Kick, punt.
You're punting.
Yep.
I'm not playing this. I'm going to go for it every single time inside the 20 type game. No, I'm not going to do it. If you're going to do that, I'm not going to play because it's going to be too easy for me to where
Play the game.
play the game. Play the game the way an actual
Yes.
coach would play it. If it's time for a field goal, kick the field goal. Makes a lot of sense. I like that. It's the strategy. It's all that stuff that kind of goes into
Yes.
it. So, watching that game, again, I couldn't make more comparisons to a kid playing Madden.
That's our coaching staff.
Yes.
Preparation. Yes. You nailed it. You nailed it.
I'm
Our
thinking
coaching
that the whole
staff is
time.
playing
I'm like,
Madden in their head.
Oh, I'm like-
they're sitting there playing, and they bring it out into real life, and it doesn't work in real life. It's
So the soccer game.
Come on, there's no glitch in the system in real life.
So the soccer game is going on. I'm watching the game on my phone. The game ends. There's 2 minutes to go. Nicole was coaching. She walks back up to the car. Austin goes probably 50 yards to the concession stand. And I'm literally, it's at the 2-minute warning. The Bengals are up. And it's like 3rd down.
Right.
So she goes, can you go down and get Blake from the concession stand? I'm like, really? It's a 2-minute warning. Like, you've been with him I'm in my head. This is my head. Like, you've been with him the whole time. Can't you just take him to the concession stand? I'm sitting here. I'm doing something. I'm good. I'm content. So I was like, fine. So I walk down. I'm watching it on my phone. Walk down. I get all the way down to the concession stand. I'm waiting. I'm looking for him. I don't see him. She goes, oh, Blake's at the car. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Walk back up to the car. It's 4th down or whatever. Time's running, about to expire. They're lining up for the kick, for the field goal, to try to make it. It's like 53 yards. I'm watching on mute on my phone. And I'm watching Zach Taylor call timeout as this guy's getting ready, right before this guy's getting ready to kick it, and then he misses the 53-yard field goal. But I couldn't hear. So I'm like, they did it. I can't believe it. They won.
He made that.
No,
He made that practice kick.
No, he didn't. He missed
Yeah, he
it.
did.
No.
Crushed that thing.
No.
Yeah.
No, the first one went off to the left because the refs even went like this.
Ah. I think they said it wasn't a kick. It split the uprights.
Not the first one. I watched the ball land.
Okay.
Now, you can prove me wrong because I was watching on a tiny little phone.
Okay.
But in my mind, that's what I saw. Right? And so then they go through and then he nailed the 53-yarder to tie him. Great. We're in overtime. Then the Bengals get the ball. I think they went 3 and out or close to it. I'm like, here we go. And I'm mad. Nicole's trying to talk to me, and I'm like, they're gonna blow this game. They had a 14-point lead. Like, coach, this is stupid. Needs to. Yeah, and I am.
Stop playing Madden. Play real football.
I am fuming because that's the one thing. Like, I'd like baseball. Like last night with the Reds, I was mad. I don't watch when that stuff happens. I don't watch Sports Center or anything like that. I just shut down.
Right.
I'm like, no, this is the first game. Like, don't stupid. She's mad at me. She's calling me rude and all this stuff. We finally get home. And Minnesota's driving. They could have kicked a field goal at any minute. And, like, sure enough, Dalvin Cook fumbles. Then and I'm like, yes, we're jumping up and down again. And then they show the replay. And I'm like, crap. This is coming back. They're going to kick it on the very next play. They go to the booth and they're like, call stands. I'm like, what just happened? That call never goes.
My niece's boyfriend said Minnesota just got bangled. Minnesota just got bangled.
I thought the same thing.
It's like, wow.
Now, if I'm the Vikings, I'm going, you should know better than that. You hold on to the ball until you hand it to the referee.
Yeah.
Regardless. Like, doesn't matter if you think you're down or not. Like, hold on to the ball. Because that was close.
It was.
And there's a very good chance that it was on its way out. And I think that's probably why it went that route. But I thought for sure.
There was no clear angle.
Well, the good thing is they called the fumble on the field.
That's what we were saying. If it was called not, it would have stayed. So whatever the call was, it would have stayed.
Alexa, play Broken Wings by Mr. Mister.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, and then you're watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening.
Bengals got a kicker.
We'll get to that.
I'm more optimistic about them having a kicker
Oh,
than I am
no,
about them having a successful season.
No, I'm 100% on board.
I mean, he's got a boot.
So hold on, hold that thought because we'll come back to that. So I'm sitting there. It's me, Austin, and Blake, and we're watching the game. And Nicole's standing up in the kitchen. And Bengals get the ball, and Joe Mixon had a great game. You know, he just ran hard.
Yep.
Tons of yards. Yeah, and Jamar Chase, like,
He's the glitch in the Madden system.
yeah.
I think he's, man.
I mean, he's fast. I mean, that. Yes.
His hands are, I mean, the ones that he did catch were kind of off-centered behind. So Joe tightened it up a little bit. If I had to critique, tighten it up a little bit. Because Jamar had to make some Chad
I don't know, man.
Johnson-esque athletic.
Joe Burrow's his
A little bit.
his
A little bit.
accuracy. So if you watch David Carr Monday night, and I saw a tweet about this,
Yeah.
like David Carr, I could be standing right next to you and be David Carr. No, I would throw it way over there. It was amazing. I'm thinking the same thing, and then I saw a tweet about it. It's like, but the Raiders ended up coming back and winning.
Wow.
A lot. Yeah, it was a tremendous game. So, anyway, Bengals get down inside field goal range, or close to field goal range, not quite close enough.
Correct.
And it's more and
Modern day field goal range.
By the way, did you see that placement of that ball?
Yes.
How was that not ruled a first down? I didn't understand that because that was about as you couldn't slide a piece of paper between.
Yeah. Like when they showed it, and the ball, and it, boom, it's first down.
That's what I thought.
Like, it's literally, so the only thing that, and then when they said they got to go for it, I was like, I literally just looked at the tip of that ball.
It was first down.
So the only thing I could think is like the angle of that camel.
Maybe.
If I could speak, that'd be
Camel.
great.
Yeah.
That angle of the camera was like more this, which if you would have turned this way, it would have fallen short, right?
Sure, and
So
that's a good point.
I don't know, but I'm clearly looking at the nose of that football.
I thought first down.
Yeah.
I definitely thought first down.
Right.
You know, so looking at it, and then they're that close. So in my mind, I'm thinking, like, he's going to sneak this, right? And I watch him drop, like, fake a hand. I'm like, what happened to real football? Just go forward.
Yes.
And then he throws the ball, and I'm going, oh my God.
The Bengals just bangled themselves.
Yes!
Yeah.
And then it's caught, and I go,
Rumor has it Joe Burrow's changed the call.
and my first thing was, what a set of balls that he has to change the call in that situation where it's win or lose. And
See, that goes back to early parts of the game, like first and second quarter, when everybody's bored. Like, why do they run that play? Why do they do that? And it's like, guys, they're setting stuff up, man. They gotta see tendencies, because there's times in a moment like that to where the tight end. Have you ever seen the movie with Mark Wahlberg plays a walk-on for the Eagles?
yes,
And-
what is that called?
In
Hang on it.
we know the movie, but there was that scene to where, you know how much weight the guy puts on his fingers, right? If he was white knuckling, and Mark Wahlberg noticed it in the game, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to beat this guy off the line because I know what he's doing. He's putting weight on his right." So anyway, with all that, so in that play call, there's tendencies in a game that coaches don't see, that people see, that if a tight end comes to him and says, "Hey, he's going to bite on it. I can get it behind him. Trust me." And that's absolute faith and trust. You know, Tom Brady has that relationship with guys where they just say, "Hey, here's the tendency. Here's the move I'm going to put on him. I know it's going to work because I've been setting him up all game." And then, boom. I can't help but think that happened in that play, because that's just...
I love the fact, and you were kind of saying about like a Burrow and everything being do a little bit better, whatever. I'm like, there were certain times
I'm talking, he's like at 98%, like 2% better, right? I'm not...
compared, like, I was an Andy Dalton fan. I am an Andy Dalton fan.
Likewise.
Good dude.
A fan of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually a fan of him as a quarterback. It kind of like one of those things where it's like, he's never going to kill you. You know, he's never going to just steady Andy.
Yep.
Right? Alexa, play On My Own by Patti LaBelle. We're cutting down. Casey's counting them down. So it was one of those things, but the one thing to me that I always go to is like the emotion during, especially as a Bengals fan, the range of emotions. You go from, I'm driving back from the baseball game with Austin in the passenger seat.
Worst team in the league.
To they score, and I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening to it on the radio, and I'm like, here we go. Stupid. They suck again. Like,
Major league.
Yeah. And to the point to where it's like, we get home, they score. I'm like, yeah, it's tied. And then they score right before halftime, and I'm like, oh, we're getting hyped. And then they come out and score right after halftime. I'm like, oh, this game is over. Then
Until the Bengals show up.
Yes. And I'm
So I hate to be the downer, but I'm the Bengals are the Bengals until proven otherwise. I refuse to think any other way.
There is absolutely no reason to doubt what you just said.
They played a
It's gonna
mediocre at best Minnesota team.
Sure.
But to twist that positive, they overcame things that they haven't been able to overcome in a long time. Their own dumb play calling. They overcame that. They overcame a recall or a replay that was questionable.
Yeah.
So just the things
that
like
would have went the other way before.
Like, hold on. Ride that wave.
So, yes, things that would have went the other way before went their way on Sunday.
Right.
Okay. But you brought it up, and this is why I said the Bengals would win 10 games. Because last year, short of, I want to say just the first Baltimore game, they were pretty much in every game.
Correct.
And their kicking game has been awful for pretty much 2 decades.
That's why you draft a kicker.
And people made fun of it. But when that dude lines up and drills a 53-yarder
and it would have been good from 70.
It had 20 more yards on it. And then comes through with, I don't remember exactly how long the kick was to win the game. And drills that in his first ever NFL experience.
Yeah. So when they drafted that kid, the first thought that went through my head was, remember when the Raiders drafted Sebastian Janikowski and went to the Super Bowl?
Yep.
I mean, they were a good Raiders team, and they just needed...
So I gamble a lot.
Yep.
And I was watching a show last week, and they said the majority of NFL games are within 3 points.
Oh, yeah.
That's why when you look at spreads and everything, it's +3, -3. That special teams portion is giant. If you can get to a point to where every time you get on the opposite side of the field,
The Ravens have the best kicker
Correct.
in football, and they're in every game.
and they play conservative all game long.
Yes.
All game long. And it'll burn them sometimes,
Sure.
but they are in every single game because Justin Tucker can make a 65-yard field goal. And when they drafted him, and I watched him in preseason, and I'm like, the dude nailed a 60-yarder in preseason, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, he's ice cold. He is ice cold.
Yeah.
So ice cold that he made 2 huge kicks, one to win the game, and then was named AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. His first week in the NFL.
So, coaching staff. If we got someone in Germany listening, we can get a Bengals coach to listen. Stop playing Madden, play football, and let your kicker win.
Hey,
Ride his foot as far as you possibly
but
can.
if you've got an accurate passer in Burrow, a smart guy, gamer,
Solid running back.
savvy quarterback who has enough balls to basically literally put the game in his own hands, to throw to a guy that I don't know he caught a pass that's coming off an Achilles tear,
Right?
but I don't know if he caught a pass or maybe he caught one, short one, whatever. On 4th and game,
4th and game.
that was, to me,
4th and overtime.
it was one of those moments that if this season is successful,
Is that going to come back and be the defining moment?
oh, I think so. It might be if I mean, you've got these guys, they're young. They've got these guys for a long time, right?
Yep.
So if that's one of those moments in time where you look back and go, do you remember that play? That was when, again, not to say this is going to happen, but that was when the Bengals they lost the Bungles
Yeah.
and they became the aggressors and they became the bully and they became these things that was like, hey, we're not afraid of man. I hope that's the case.
Yep.
It'll
My,
be
my
so
favorite
enjoyable.
play in that game was still stretching the field with Jamar Chase.
Right before half?
Yeah.
That was huge.
they're just when they did it,
It was beautiful.
to know you can do it, to know it's there, to have it.
And with the media
Man.
chasing him down looking for something last week.
like that play meant a lot.
And the dude comes out and has 100 yards. And it was funny. We were in the car, and we went out to eat after the game was over, and we were in the car. And Dave Lapham, who's uber Bengal, right? And so he's in the locker room, which is awesome to have people back in the locker room again. So he's in the locker room, and he's grabbing these guys as they come. So he grabs Joe Mixon. And Mixon's talking, whatever. This is live mic. Hot mic, live mic. And Mixon's talking, and he's like, yeah, that's how we're going to do it. And he's like, we're not being aggressive. He's like, we're gonna be the aggressors. We're gonna be the bullies. Like that's kind of the gist. And then Jamar Chase comes up and he's like, man, how did it feel? You're catching a ball. Come in the Joe and Jamar show. Blah 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 blah. And what did you think about the throw that Joe made? And then like F-bombs started flying. Like and like we're literally in the car listening to it. I'm like, it's live. And then all of a sudden Burrow comes up in between both of them. It was like, Chase.
We haven't seen that in Cincinnati in
no.
88, 89.
No, it was one of those things
Like
where it was
that type of camaraderie.
well, it's just savvy, man. Like just
Yes.
like he walks up and I saw the video of it. Like and he's got his arm around Mixon, he's got his arm around Chase, and he just walks up like he's got a nice fresh haircut. Like dude's fine. Dude looks good.
Talking about Jamar?
No, I'm talking about Burrow.
Or okay.
And like he just walks up and he's like kind of takes you back to that LSU cigar.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm watching, I'm like, dude is just cool. Like he
Yeah.
is just cool. Dude's
Right.
coming off freaking completely ripped up
Yep.
ACL, and there was like nothing changed. It was like almost like, hey,
Never
well,
happened. I was a little nervous when he went down holding it.
yeah, they talked about that too. Said he was fine. So anyway, that was the range of Bengals emotions when you're a Bengals fan. Like I thought about making, you've seen those like TikToks and those videos. Like we've done one or two of them before. Where it's like
Yeah.
those stereotypes. Like you could literally stereotype me during a Bengals game. Like I am that guy.
That roller coaster.
Oh, it's so brutal. It's so brutal. So anyway,
Kings Island, new roller coaster.
Yes.
Call it the Bengal.
don't put my wife there. She'll bid on that too. So anyway, here we are talking sports. Big 12 expanding.
You see.
Yes. Giant.
Such a massive move for this city, for that university, for that fan base. Massive move.
Well, what's amazing about that is I remember when it came, when it was done, and I'm thinking like, that's awesome because Fickle's not going to leave for a bigger, better job.
Yes. And
And then USC job opened up with the old UCAD. And immediately I go to the point, I'm like, really? Like, is this is how this is going to play out? They get to the Big 12. This guy basically came in, brought in a bunch of people, recruited locally. Everything you couldn't be any better
right.
at UC at that very moment. And then living in Cincinnati, God will quickly grab you back down. Like Cincinnati is like, if there's a purgatory, it's here. It's here because you can't get too high
No.
and you'll never get too low.
Such is life.
It's true. And it's like, really? All of the, so I, Mark lives in California, and he sends a text out like, "Oh, Fickle's coming. He's a USC fan. Fickle's coming to USC." I'm like, "No, he's not. One, he's not going to recruit the West Coast. Like,
Right.
he's Ohio State. He just turned out Michigan.
A Midwest boy.
Michigan State. Like, he does just fine right here. Plus, he's getting into the Big 12. He's going to have his shot at winning the national title. If they don't have a shot at it this year,
Yep.
there's nobody other than them that are going to keep them out of it.
Right.
You have to win them all, but college football, that's what you got to do anyway. You want to win a national championship, there's not many one-loss teams that win national championships.
Correct.
Alabama, undefeated. Clemson, undefeated. You just don't win them unless you run the table.
Correct.
And this week, they have the first of, like, at least before the season, was going to be one of those games. Indiana. Top 20 ranked team. They go to Indiana. This is going to be the first
Test of their defense.
defense, offense, everything.
Hmm?
So we'll see what happens. And then a couple weeks later, they go to Notre Dame. And you have Central Florida.
Oh, Notre Dame.
Yes.
So what we started this whole thing last week is talking about Notre Dame, Florida State. Is Notre Dame bad or Florida State good? Like, where do we stand on that? Like, we don't
the
know.
answer
In
out.
week one, we found that out, man. Toledo almost shocked Notre Dame, and
And,
then Florida State got shocked
yeah,
by Jacksonville State. And it's just like,
So think
what
about
is
that.
going on?
from a
And-
perspective, USC gets beat by Stanford. USC was supposed to have a good team this year, gets beat by Stanford. Coach gets fired. Florida State hangs with, at the time, what seems to be
a top 10 team,
top 10 team. Should have beaten them,
which we found out they're probably not.
could have beaten them, loses.
Mhm.
Everybody's hyped. Florida State. Everybody's getting their starter jackets back out.
Yeah, right. I said it last, like, man, this Florida State team might be legit. I mean, they played well. They played fast.
Yes. Until Jacksonville State rolls in, collects $400,000, and beats the Seminoles at their own place.
And then threw the flag in the ground.
Man.
Yeah, that's
Man.
Appalachian State almost beat Miami. It was almost a bad day for the state of Florida.
You know, Appalachian State, though.
They're legit. They're credible.
To give them some credit, they went into the big house years ago, kind of built that started their program.
Yep. So we got family that lives in that town. It's kind of a cool environment on game days down there.
In Appalachian State?
Yeah, it's Boone, North Carolina. It's cool, man. It's a cool vibe down there. They love their football. So they have cracked in the top 25 a couple times.
Do they actually have TVs to watch it?
Yeah.
Like we talked about chili before. I kind of picture old boy kind of out in the back, stirring a bowl of chili over some fire. Got the AM radio turned on.
Little straw hat.
Yeah, straw hat. Yeah.
Yep.
Becky's out back, milking the goat. You know,
Yeah,
Alexa,
it's a cool town. It's a cool vibe.
play "I Miss You" by Climax.
Oh, it's good.
I Miss You album version by Climax on Amazon Music.
So that's going on. USC jobs open.
Fickle's not going. I think he's a Midwest guy. I know
Yeah.
they can offer big money, but there's just momentum, man. There's so many things, and you know, he turned down the Michigan State job. I can't see him leaving for.
No,
I
no, I don't either.
Man. I can't. I think he. I've never talked to him. I don't know the guy,
Yeah.
but
All indications.
I'm all probably speaking for like projections that I would have in the way that I compete, and you know, if you can bring. So you look back at Florida State, and dadgummit, what was his name? Coach there for
Bobby Bowden
Bowden, yeah.
just passed away.
So he took Florida State from nothing to national titles.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, why don't coaches want to do that anymore? Why don't coaches want to say, hey, you know what? I've got like when Shambo or whatever left Rutgers.
Social media.
Right? He left Rutgers
phones.
to go get the big paycheck and
Went to the NFL.
He flopped. Yeah.
Which that don't bother me so much because, like, in my mind, like you're always.
He's
trying
back
to-
at Rutgers now.
No, I know. Yeah, Chiano.
So Giano, yeah.
He was at he. Yeah, he
Like,
was
if
at
you
Rutgers.
can take something and you get something built, build something. Build something.
I
Quit
agree.
leaving. Build something.
But there's also those that are like, hey, like I'm a big like single A, double A, triple A, major leagues.
Yep.
9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade.
So yeah, going from college to the NFL rankings to give it a crack. I mean,
But
Saban did it. He got
Urban.
quick.
Urban's now in the NFL.
He's taking some heat. It's game 1. Get off. Leave the guy alone.
But-
They put out a number 1 draft picks, quarterbacks that have lost their first game. They're like
Pretty much all of them.
every one of them. Every one of them.
You know who won their first game that day? I think they actually started.
Huh.
And it's probably the worst of all. Achilles Smith. So like,
He was first round. He wasn't first overall pick though, right?
no,
Right.
he was like third.
Okay. Yeah. I knew he was early.
But my point being is, there's different. If you take life in like different levels, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, you're trying to do better. Like
I agree
get
with that.
But
Like,
I'm
if you're
with
building
you.
Rutgers, and NFL comes along.
You go. And now you
Sure.
have Urban, right? And the
Hey.
USC job opens up.
Is he going back?
Well, that can you? I like Urban Meyer. I'm a giant Urban Meyer fan. Wherever he is, like I like the dude.
Yep.
He's from Cincinnati, went to UC. Like I like him. He goes to Ohio State. I'm like, man, they got Ohio State's got him and Kerry Combs. I like both those guys. I'm like, I can't root against them anymore. I'm not a Buckeye fan per se, but I'm those guys. I'm a fan of those guys.
Right. Kerry Combs, man.
Could be in trouble.
Delicate topic here in
Could be in
setting
trouble.
in the heart of Coleraine.
I hope for the best, but I know that he knows that he's gonna be all right.
He's probably just overcoaching. I don't know what it is, man.
It's
But
different role.
yeah, it's a different role.
Different role. We'll see how it kind of plays out. I mean, they still got tremendous athletes up there, and at the end of the day, I mean, for crying out loud, can Ohio State not get aren't they allowed one of those moments where it's like, hey, guess what? We're not that good this year.
Right.
I mean, you took a tremendous team last year. You're starting a brand new quarterback. You got a new defensive coordinator. You're young. It's not like you're just in like I get it. Like it's a high pressure situation, but for crying out loud, man, like Jim Harbaugh gets 80 years in Michigan.
Yeah.
Like give the daggone guys a chance to at some point you
Make some adjustments.
you
And
do
that's what's
rebuild.
wrong with sports is we
Not everybody's Alabama.
yeah, you just fired right away. You're cut right away. You get 2 years to prove yourself and you're done. Belichick, man, in Cleveland, he was on the brink of turning it. Didn't turn it. Goes to New England.
Bet they wish they had that one back.
Exactly. Man, I wish we would have hung out with this guy for a little bit and just let him develop what he was trying to do. I
think that's what the Bengals-
Saban and Belichick,
Yeah.
the same coaching staff at the same time. Are you kidding me?
They're right.
That's no.
Can you imagine those two on the same coaching staff in meetings?
That'd be interesting.
Like no word gets said.
So they did a show together, man. They did well. I mean, they piggybacked off each other well. They were they did great.
No, you just Monday Night Football.
Oh, the Mannings! I'm 100% watching Monday. I miss Monday Night
Yes!
Football. I will never miss another one again. I've seen so many clips from those two dudes, man.
I totally forgot about that when we were going through this.
I will never. I think Monday Night Football is going to be watched again because of them too.
So we were sitting there, and I enjoyed it. I loved it.
Yes,
Okay. I
Have
loved
you watched, I don't.
It's
I don't
like-
think you've watched Peyton's Place yet, have you?
No, I need
it's-
to.
Dude, it's a whole nother level.
I need
Peyton,
to. But
Yes.
so I'm sitting there and we're watching, whatever, fantasy, gambling, whatever. I took the Raiders. I had a couple players going that night. It was kind of fun. I'm like, yeah, it's NFL. It's like,
Nice win.
it's different from baseball, which we won't even get into the Reds' downfall today. But I'm watching that, and my buddy texts me. He goes, hey, are any of you guys watching? I didn't even know. I had no idea. That's how oblivious I was. Alexa, play Say You, Say Me by Lionel Richie.
Say for always.
So I'm like, no, I didn't even know. So I'm like, I flip it, and I'm like, and it's got the split screen, and they're and they're watching the game, and they're going on, and I'm cracking up, and Nicole comes in, and she's like, what is this? She's like, are you watching them review tape?
No, this is live.
I'm like, no, this is live. It's two different broadcasts, and I'm like, And I'm looking at him.
Could you imagine Tony Romo's knowledge in with those guys? Keep going.
So anyway, like, I'll get back to that. But I'm watching it, and I'm like, and she goes, "Oh, this is stupid." I'm like, okay, I kind of get her perspective because the other announcers bring a lot more excitement.
Yeah.
And like the plays and the play-by-play, whereas literally, like, they're not calling play-by-play. You don't know who's catching the ball. You don't know who's throwing the ball. You don't know anything. They're not saying names of people. It's not flashing up on the screen. You're literally just it's like those two guys sitting down here with you and I, and we're just watching football.
Right.
And it was freaking hysterical to somebody that likes that kind of stuff. But I could also understand
I just want to watch the game.
how other people could be like,
Yeah.
that aren't as informed or don't really care as much, or like the excitement of somebody, you know, of an Al Michaels or Chris Collinsworth saying touchdown or interception or whatever. Like, it's different.
Sure.
But yes.
I got to watch it this Monday.
Yes.
I'm so
Are they
mad.
doing that every Monday?
And I'm like kind of a Raven guy.
Are they doing that every Monday?
I hope so. I don't know.
I saw one thing that said if ABC or ESPN, whoever it is, doesn't have Peyton and Eli doing Tennessee versus Ole Miss.
Barstool Sports.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, yes, get those two going at it. Tennessee, Ole Miss.
You can have the whole Peyton
Trash
family,
talking.
man.
Oh my gosh, so good. And then the guests they were bringing on, like when they brought Charles Barkley on, it was outstanding. And they're talking, you know, to my own heart, when he starts talking about gambling and the lines and everything, I'm like, this is great. Charles, oh, so good. I didn't even plan on talking about that, but that was.
Did you hear when Ray Lewis was on and they were talking?
Yes.
Eli, Ray Lewis like, I'm not the mic. He's the mic. He's like, oh. And then Ed Reed's like, I'll be the mic. So they're talking.
So
That's
it was funny
fantastic.
because, like, I got this impression that, like, Ray and Peyton have a really, really good relationship.
I think they do.
But then I got this impression about Eli that there was a little bit of coldness from Eli to Ray.
Really? I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
I felt like there were some comments, maybe some shrugness towards Ray from Eli.
Yeah, and those two didn't play against each other as often.
No, they didn't.
So they didn't develop that.
No.
I hate you. Dang
Yeah.
it, you're so good. I have such a level of
And
respect
I could
for
be
you that-
totally reading body language and everything else wrong, but I kind of was like, I felt like Eli kind of kept cutting him off, like trying to be the smarter guy. Whereas Peyton's seems like a goofball anyway, so he was just kind of like rolling with it. Like Peyton, well, like we were talking about, like Peyton, not afraid to make fun of himself.
Correct.
He's out there. He did the Saturday Night Live skit, which was awesome.
Peyton's Place.
You know,
Said it.
like, yeah.
I'm going to recycle that for my show of the week.
It's good. That's good. I gotta watch it. I try to, especially if sports aren't very good. Like, I try to go into non-reality type stuff.
Yeah.
So I stay away. That's probably what's kept me away. But yeah, that was good. Speaking of Saturday Night Live, this week we lost a giant, in my opinion, at least from my generation. Saturday Night Live cast member.
Jake, thank you. Invincible. Mark Wahlberg
Yes. It was what? That wasn't the one. That was the Eagles.
movie. Yes.
What was the one with We Are Marshall? Was the other one?
Yeah. That was, he wasn't in that though. Matthew McConaughey was.
Ah,
Mark Wahlberg wasn't in that.
I get them confused.
They
all
all
the
look
time.
alike.
Yeah. Alexa, play "That's What Friends Are For."
Here's That's What Friends Are for Remastered. by
So,
Paul Ward.
Saturday Night Live
And others on Amazon
lost one
Music.
of my favorite cast
Dry
members. Yes.
humor.
Oh my gosh, dude! Like, so Norm Macdonald passed away yesterday. I think it was, or at least it was announced yesterday.
Yeah.
The dude was in Saturday Night Live. He was on Saturday Night Live. He did the Weekend Update. He was Burt Reynolds on Jeopardy.
Yes.
He was Bob Dole. He played in Billy Madison. Like, he he was hilarious, man. Like his
Yes, it is a great song.
drive, like his, like it was almost like a relaxed comedy.
Yeah.
It was almost like he was almost the voice in the back of your head.
That's a good way to break his down, man. I've never
Everybody's
listened to like
thinking
comedic.
it,
Yeah.
but he was the guy that would put it out there. So last night, like I was sitting there, I was watching the Reds blow another game, and I'm going on YouTube and I'm watching old Saturday Night Live Celebrity Jeopardy with Will Ferrell, and it was you had the characters that were boundless, but he always played Burt Reynolds.
Yep.
And like it always, as dumb as it seemed at the time, it cracked me up every time. When he came out with the name Turd Ferguson on Jeopardy, and then he fires back when he goes, Burt Reynolds, that's not my name.
So Brian Ferguson was in our fantasy league, and his team name was Turd
Turd
Ferguson.
Ferguson. Yes. Classic.
Yep.
Classic. And then you had Sean Connery on there. Like, I literally watched that for like 45 minutes. I was cracking up. I went through like 7 or 8 of them. Just watching.
Reminisce.
Yes. You know, so, sad day. If you go through Twitter, like, there were so many people, like, saying how, like, instrumental he was. Like, it was so dry. It literally was, like, the voice in the back of your head. Like, that smart-ass voice in the back of your head.
That's a great way to...
The stuff that you want to say sometimes, like,
Yeah.
that was him. Like, he was out there. And so that kind of sucked. But,
R.I.P. Thoughts and prayers to his family and
Norm
loved ones
Macdonald.
and people around that...
it's unfortunate because you won't get to hear him again. But, like, man,
Thanks for television and cameras that we can
go back and
reminisce
talk.
and watch again. So,
It was
you know,
awesome.
Chris Farley, all the greats that we can tune in and have access to them.
So,
Gambling Man,
yeah. Oh, yes.
we've got the 130 ranked UMass Minutemen football team will be hosting Eastern Michigan this week.
We didn't really talk about that, so hold on. Who'd they play last week?
Last week they played Boston College.
Yes, and I have
Over-under was 58.5.
and I had them at plus 37.
Yes.
Okay. How'd they do?
The final score was 45-28. So I think
45.
that's
28.
73 points. So they crushed the over,
And they covered.
and they covered.
And they covered.
I
Clean
think,
sweep.
I think that's probably going to be the trend. They have a freshman quarterback that did not start week 1 against Pitt, where they lost 58-7 or 57-7. Young kid, freshman, out of the state of Massachusetts. Olson, I believe his name is. So he got the helm and threw 3 touchdowns against BC. So we'll see. Paige was at the game.
How'd she like it?
She said
Because that's her first football game, right?
that's her first football game, because last year we didn't even go to school in the fall.
Yeah.
So she got to experience that. Said a good environment, good vibe. You know, outside of the student section, said it's a good time. She sent Snapchats. Kind of an empty stadium, which surprised me because Boston College has a massive following.
Yeah.
And they're an hour and 45 minutes away. You think Boston College would have flooded that place just to see their team, but that's neither here nor there. She left at halftime. I said, Paige, what are you doing? This is one of the greatest games that UMass football's had since 1998 national champions. So I was a little disappointed with her. I told her she had to stick around for the entire game because they're scoring points. And on their Twitter, UMass football, they're saying that this is the most points scored against a Power 5 school since 2004 or something crazy. I'm like, that's what you're celebrating. So that's when you're ranked 130. You're excited about how many points you score against a Power 5 football team. So that.
So do they play this week?
They do play this week. They host Eastern Michigan.
Okay. So I'm looking at
Eastern Michigan is the odds here, the matchup predictor. Eastern Michigan, 80% chance of winning to UMass.
So
obviously
EMU is a minus 20. They're a 22-point favorite.
22-point favorite.
The over/under
56.
56 and a half.
And a half.
That's
Okay.
what I have. So
Over all day. I think their defense is just a sieve. I mean, they're going to give up 40 points a game. Plus.
Okay.
So they set an NCAA record for the most consecutive games, giving up 39.
So-
I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
just to make sure that I stay on this, you're watching it live. I am taking the over
Yes.
right now. Done. Your advice,
They'll
go over.
they'll surpass 56 points because they'll give up the bulk of that. And then if this kid
Now.
can throw,
It's Eastern Michigan.
it's who they just came off a game against Wisconsin.
How'd they do?
They lost 34-7.
So-
Tough gauge because it's Wisconsin. I mean, they're a top 18, top 20 team in the country, so they can score points.
I would guess that Wisconsin probably covered that spread at
Yeah.
28
It's 34-7,
or 20. What's it?
27.
27. So close. Almost a 4-touchdown
Yep.
win.
I don't know if Eastern Michigan's going to cover the spread. 23 touchdowns. Man, it
Doesn't seem big enough.
seems like UMass can score. They
I mean,
figured
that's
out a
what
way
I'm
to
saying.
score.
That's
right?
what I mean. Like that, if you watched Boston, I mean, I don't know much about Boston College. You know what? I'm trying to talk myself into doing something else. I'm going to leave it as the over, so I make sure I follow it,
Okay.
and then we can have a full report next week. And this will be a segment every week. Is on
We are
UMass
going
football.
to track the 130th
Yes.
ranked college football team in the country.
So
Go Minutemen.
yes, that's a good. I like that. I like that a lot. So I think it's time. We talked about UMass today. We talked about, being the podcast. Check out the podcast. I'm going to try this week to get this on there too. Again, for
For
the
our
people
friends in Germany.
in Germany, right? I mean, most important, globally,
Yes.
reaching other people, being
Yes.
worldwide helpers. We talked about, don't forget, let's reset the chili cook-off.
Yes, Jake, the Haverkamp Foundation. Matt Haverkamp Foundation doing the chili cook-off.
At Grainworks.
At Grainworks. October 10th from 1 to 3.
1 to 3.
$10, $5 for a kid.
Go in there, get your insides ripped out by some delicious chili.
Yes.
You'll spend the next day, you know where, but it's worth it for a good cause. We talked about homecoming. Good luck to have a great time. Be safe to those high school kids that are going through homecoming this week.
Act a fool in rhythm.
Act
You'll be
a fool
just
in rhythm.
fine.
Do what you like to do, but do it in rhythm.
Yes.
That's it. UC going to the Big 12. Big game this week. Cannot wait to watch UC versus Indiana. Hopefully that turns out well for the Bearcats. NFL season. Cincinnati goes to Chicago this
Yep.
week. I don't expect.
Is Andy Dalton going to play
Yes.
and beat his Bengals?
No. I do expect the Bengals to win. Oh, and here's one. This is probably the most important thing, actually, now that we're coming up to it. If you are listening and you are nearby, Sunday, there is a fundraiser for Nicole's school board campaign at Hobner from 1 to 3. There will be, she'll give out signs, there's T-shirts, there will be pizza, there's beer, there's also 12-year-old baseball that'll be going on at the same time. Come on out, have a good time. If you have questions, that's a great time to ask them. But in the same sense, like if you are supporting her and her campaign, come out. It's a great time to do that too. So again, it's Sunday, the 19th, from
1 to 3.
1 to 3. I will be
Hobner.
there. We will be there at least until the Bengals game will be over. They have awesome bar area there. It's
At Nicole Tolby Field.
no, that's Field 3. We will not be walking back to Field 3. But we do need to make sure, just in case she is listening, hon, we do need to make sure that the grass is cut back there and that the field is dragged so it looks good. That's
Line
it.
that field.
Yeah, that's all we got to do. But so yeah, come on out. It'll be a great cause. You know, if you could support her, that'd be awesome. I don't know how we didn't talk about that sooner, but I'll give you the full recap next week.
You were off centered and rattled by the $750 field purchase she made.
Oh, that's true. Very true. Yes, very true. So next year you'll be able to come out and witness a baseball game at Talby Field. Or Talby Field, how do you do that nowadays? Talby Field at Hobner Field?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what do you play on? Do you play on Field 3?
At
No.
At
We
Hobner
changed
Complex. Toby Field at
Yeah.
Hobner Complex.
We changed the name of the field. We no longer play on Field 3. We're on Talby Field. Oh, okay. Cool.
I love it.
But, yeah. I'm gonna need bleachers back there. Field needs to be lined. We got to put a fence up, drag it, all that stuff. It
Let's
sounds
make
like
it
a lot
the
of work.
Premier Field.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, I guess. I don't know. I'm not in charge of it. I just, provided the name. So go Bengals, go Bearcats, go Nicole. R.I.P. Norm Macdonald. Today's been awesome. Kind of our first normal show in a while.
Yeah.
So, like they said back in
86.
1986,
Groovy. Far out. What was that?
this show was rad.
Rad. Yes.
See ya.
Say it.